Hello there. How you doing today? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you're watching me from. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Talk with Karo. So on this episode today, we're going to be talking about a very sad situation that a lot of homeowners have been a victim of, and it has to do with the demolition carried out by government. And I say government because I feel like this happens everywhere, but it's very common in Lagos. So we're going to be focusing on Lagos. And because I live in Lagos and because I deal with Lagos properties especially, and I'm more acquainted with the laws guiding buildings in Lagos State. So we're going to be focusing on Lagos State. A month ago, we saw the demolition. I don't know if you in particular watching this, you saw some of the videos making the rounds of demolition that Lagos State government did in Ikota and VGC area of Lagos State. It was a very sad situation because in the video we also saw that some of them were not even able to get their belongings out of those buildings before the demolition took place. So I'm going to be addressing that. A month ago when I saw, and I say a month ago, today is November 24th, as I'm recording this 2023, so I don't know when you'll be watching it, but a month ago from this date, that demolition happened, and I decided that I was going to talk about it in one of these episodes of Real Estate Talk with Karo, but then things came up, and then I felt that it had died down a bit, so maybe I should just move on from it. But today I said I must jump on this and address this finally because I saw a video today again of another demolition. I'm not sure which location that's happening. It wasn't mentioned, but it just pushed me to finally address this.
All right, look at this mansion. Just look at this mansion now. You won't believe that this house is going down. And they gave what any moment from now, this house is going down. This house is going down any moment from now. Just 2 hours to clear your property. Look at people. Look at people's properties. Look at people's properties. Just look at. Everybody's rushing out. 2 hours to break down this mansion. 2 hours. This is unbelievable. Look at, and someone just paid 1.7 M and moved into this house not up to a month. Just look at this mansion. They want to raise down this building now. 2 hours to take out your properties. You can't believe this.
I know for sure that there are some videos out there already that might already address this topic, but you are my audience and you are my people. And yes, there are a lot of you that always want me to, want to hear what I think on this topic because I'm your expert here. So it's become very serious now, and it's happening very frequently now that I have to just have a say on it and address this because this is huge. This is bringing really huge losses to homeowners in Lagos, so it has to be addressed. I just have to address this. So that's what today's topic is going to be about. But before we get into it, I'll take a quick break and I'll be back. So much money being lost here, but who is to blame? Because emotions are high, and where I got that video from, when you go through the comments, everybody are just speaking from a place of hurt and just throwing fingers and blaming the government. Some are even coming up with conspiracy theories about how Lagos State government is trying to drive Igbo people out of Lagos, and how they are focusing on targeting the Igbos and pulling down their houses and all that. Personally, I don't know about politics and I don't care to know about politics. But what I know for sure is that no government anywhere can just come and pull down a building for no justifiable reason, and air will not be let loose. No government will do that, so let's all calm down and let's all ask the right questions. How can we avoid such disaster happening? First, I'll help you answer the question, who is to be blamed? Well, as sad as it is, and I know what they say about not blaming the victim, But unfortunately, the victim is to be blamed here. Yes, homeowners, home builders, whoever is erecting a building is to be blamed. Whoever paid to erect the building that was on any of those places that were brought down is to be blamed for that happening. And as I discuss this very soon, you'll see why homeowners are to be blamed. Okay, now there are different things you can do to avoid a situation like that happening. There are different things you can do, but in this video I've decided to bring it under two important steps that you need to take, because everything else, if you take these two steps, everything else will fall into place. Everything else. One of the steps is, when you are buying a land, first of all, avoid government land. Avoid committed lands. I'm not even telling you to buy a land that has CFO now, because in the early days of doing videos like this, I had focused on buying lands with titles. I talked a whole lot about buying lands with titles. I even talked about understanding land titles. I discussed that in detail, and my focus was, if it doesn't have a title, I'm not touching it. But we've moved past that now. We've moved past that now, because if we are going to stick to that at this time and age, it will mean that very few people will be able to afford lands now. It will mean that we're indirectly telling people that don't buy land in Lagos anymore because you can't afford a land that has CFO. Because the lands that have CFO now, we know that even the ones that we consider far now are very, very expensive. We're talking about from 20 million naira upward. That's what we're talking about. And not everybody, we don't have to spend that much to get a land. Okay, since we started offering land for sale in Ekpe introduced us to what is called freehold, because places like Ibejuleki, we didn't have anything called freehold. We had either the land had title, or it was under government acquisition. That was what we had a lot of in Ibejuleki. So then it was like, buy a land that has title or just avoid it, because all those lands that were under government acquisition, or what was common then, excision in process, till today, many years later, we've not gotten any progress report as to whether they are going to finally get a title or not get a title. So that's also like just buying a land that doesn't have a title. And not just that it doesn't have a title, it's under government acquisition, you get. But then with Ekpe lands now, when we started selling Ekpe, we started getting lands that were completely free, even though they didn't have a title. We started getting lands that have freehold, or lands that are categorized as freehold, meaning that they are not under any government acquisition. Titles can be done for them. So I'm not here to tell you you must buy a land that has title. I'm telling you, avoid a land that is committed to the government. A committed land, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. As you are paying for it, as you've paid for it, you've lost your money. Just forget about it. Nobody is refunding you, not the company, not anybody. Anybody selling a land to you that is committed deliberately wants to take your money. Just know that, because they cannot ratify that land. They cannot get it to a good standing. There's nothing they can do that can get it to a good standing ever. So you're going to lose that land. So avoid lands that are committed. That's the first thing to do. A lot of you live abroad, right? And because of that, there are certain things that you find difficult to do. You don't know how to reach out to a surveyor to check, do a land search for you. You don't want to bug yourself with this and that, so you just pay and just buy. Please don't do that. Please. Look for a surveyor. If you cannot look for a surveyor, work with trusted realtors like myself. There are a few of us out there that can be trusted, that will not mess with lands that are committed. We will not even go close to it, not to talk of, we are offering it to you and you are finding out that it's committed through a land search. We will not go close to it. So if you cannot by yourself reach out to a surveyor, find a professional surveyor that you can go through to check if the land is committed, get a trusted real estate consultant. they will make sure to get you lands that are not committed to the government. That's one. Two, and I feel like this is the oga kpatakpata of them all, like, because a lot of people know by now that they should not buy committed land. Do you understand? So that is why this is the oga kpatakpata of the whole matter, because I feel like this second step is where a lot of people get it wrong. Second thing you need to do, you should get a building approval for the land you want to build on. I cannot emphasize that enough. Get a building approval for that land that you want to build on. That is the oga kpatakpata of it all. And I'll tell you why. The reason it is the oga kpatakpata of it all, it is because it will reveal everything to you. Everything. It will reveal everything to you. One, it will reveal if that land you even bought, if the title on it, the CFO on it, is from the right owners or not. Because there are also buildings that have been brought down because people, the title, you know, the person bought the land from didn't buy from the right owner, the right people that own the CFO. So buildings can be brought down, and buildings have been brought down because of that. Even sometimes maybe not the government itself, another person, say the person that actually has title to the land, you know, say it's not the government. You can also run into trouble with that. So building approval will expose that. Building approval will also expose if the deed of assignment that you have, if it was signed by the right signatories, it will reveal that. You know, it will also reveal if the land that you have is sitting on top of a canal, or if it's too close to the drainage, or if it's too close to a power line, or if it is too close to a petroleum pipeline. Everything will be revealed via a building approval. You know, and there are people that have CFO to their land that feel like, oh, because I have CFO, nothing is happening. I can just go and can just build. No, that building approval will reveal, because even though an expanse of land has CFO, within that CFO, it is very possible, and usually is, that there is a place within that CFO that should be used for drainages. It's also possible that there is a place within that CFO that should be used for roads. And government will not change their master plan for anybody. If you like, you cry. If you like, you crawl. If you like it, we will all just be sad on your behalf, but nothing can be changed. Because a place that has been planned to be used for drainage will be used for drainage. A place that has been planned to be used for roads will be used for roads. Government will not, because of a group of people, change their master plan. It will not happen.
The Lagos State government is taking decisive action to clear illegal structures that have posed issues along drainage channels. Director, Drainage Enforcement and Compliance, Kunle Adigbite, said this initiative serves as a firm warning to those who engage in indiscriminate construction near waterways, and it's an integral part of their flood prevention strategy. Esther Amopariola reports.
With notices served to the respective owners, these structures are being pulled down. This isn't limited to just one building. Several others which obstruct the flow of water, especially during the rainy season, are also being removed.
We've called the community leaders, the ballers, those that sold the land. We've had meetings with them, and so you can see that everybody is aware that this is going to happen, only that they don't know when.
Unfortunately, many residents here are facing the harsh reality of losing their homes and livelihoods. They are left with nowhere to go, and it's a heartbreaking sight for them.
My sister, good morning. Oh, good morning. See, they have demolished my house. I was in the hospital. They just told me that they have started demolishing our house. They are demolishing the whole street. Oh, they just come and started demolishing. See, they are demolishing everywhere. They are demolishing. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, I could not bring out my property, I could not bring out my documents. They are demolishing everywhere. See. They are demolishing everywhere. The whole building, the whole house, they are demolishing. Rossview, Atatawa Estate. Rossview, Atatawa Estate. They are demolishing everywhere.
While the federal government is set to begin the demolition of encroached buildings in the Festac area of Lagos, the Lagos state government has already begun the demolition of distressed buildings in the Oyingbo and Ebutimeta areas of the state. Speaking to journalists on the matter in Ebutimeta, the State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Mr. Oluyinka Olumide, says occupants of the affected buildings were served notices but refused to vacate until the ugly incident happened. He adds that government will continue to ensure the safety of residents by doing the right things at all times.
The reason for this enforcement today is to carry out demolition of all the buildings that have been assessed as distress. And unfortunately, when the notices were served to them, they refused to do the needful, which is to get to the material testing laboratory and come and do structural integrity of this test with a certified professional engineer. But they refused to do all these things within the time we're giving them. So we are left with no option than to do the work we're expected to do, which is to bring these buildings down. Because the number one responsibility of the government is to protect life. Life. Once the life is gone, it cannot be replaced. So we cannot be here and allow, because of selfish interest of making money, for people to lose their life. All these buildings that are marked as distressed, with no response from the owner, from today, we'll bring all of them down.
Structures built on the canal path in Itiosa local government area brought to ground zero. The Lagos State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, and his team are to continue the enforcement of building law, and more buildings are likely to go down as the structures have completely blocked the Ikota Canal, causing flooding in the area.
People that own these ones that were demolished, they don't have one head. You guys don't have two heads. We're all citizens, and people have contravened on the law. And it's still this brazen attitude of, we can do it, we can get away with it, and nothing will happen. That is why we are where we are today as a people.
Some of the affected property owners appeal to the government not to carry out the demolition. The water has nowhere to go, leaving the estate flooded. But the state government insists on environmental law enforcement.
This nuisance on this canal part, on the canal itself, must be removed. That's what we're just trying to do. We are removing the nuisance. And you must have noticed, as we remove them, we're creating the canal part, the channel for the water into the Ikota River. We have to also take the hard stance and let them know that we are serious about enforcement. It's sad that we have to pull down these structures. It's sad. But the truth is, we can't allow them to stand. We have to make a choice for public good. And that choice we've made. We've taken that decision that we have to enforce it to the letter.
The team moves to the VGC area of Lekki, and the story is the same. A particular property blocks the canal path.
Take your demolition both sides and take it to your lagoon. I can't compensate you for an illegality in the first place. You should even be compensating the government for letting me deploy taxpayers' resources to clear that path. The erosion will always be daring to come and pull down your property. But the owner of the house only so that's what we're doing. We are pushing back, and we're going to push back irrespective of whose ox will be God.
The Lagos state government says it is determined to put an end to all forms of illegal act that may affect the safety of everyone.
So all the beg, it will not change anything. It will not. So please do things right. Get a building approval. That is the oga kpatakpata of it all. And I think I've done a video on this before where I said that make sure to perfect the title of your land before you start building. Is so expensive. We're talking about depending on the kind of building you want to build now, with how expensive building materials are now, we're talking about 50, 60 million. And all these fizzy houses that people are building now, people are spending up to 200 million, 250, half a billion to build a house. Why can't you just get a building approval to save yourself the headache? If you can mark such a building, if you have that money to put into a project, why not take that step? I understand that in Nigeria, things like this take time. You can wait and wait. We're in a system that doesn't really work. So things that should take a few days will take much longer. Things that maybe you are supposed to just be able to access the report on the internet will take forever. You have to send several people. But please, whatever time it requires for your building approval to come out, for you to get building approval, be patient. It is worth it in the end. Be patient to get your building approval from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. And no government will come and pull down your building. So if government is bringing down a building and they are not compensating the people that have those buildings, just know that there's no conspiracy theory about it. Remove the sentiment from it. It is only in Nigeria you have things like this. Remove the sentiment from it. Forget about how painful that is. Just know that it is the person that built that house that is at fault, and there's nothing the government can do about it.
Hello. I'm sure by now everybody must have heard what happened in Ikota and Lekki. It's unfortunate.
So this is Duro Bond. I found his video on YouTube. He's a developer. He seems like an experienced developer, and he addressed the issue of demolition and the conspiracy theories about it, whether the government is targeting the Igbos or not. And I found the video very informative, so I decided to share. So enjoy. You can check out his YouTube channel too.
And also, this estate was affected by the demolition. So I'm in the right position to, tell you what actually happened, right? I'm in the business. So many people have been calling me all over the world. My friends in Germany, Canada, even Ghana here, like, Bond, this is your real estate. What exactly is happening? And also this comment by MNK, right? Trying to tribalize the issue. These are the things that motivated me to create this video. I understand MNK sentiment. I'm an Igbo boy. I'm a member no local government in Imo State, right? So MNK is my brother. I know where his house is. I know where his hotel is. Right? And all this stems from, what happened during the election. So I understand it. However, I feel that it is right to, share this information that I have with the public, for those who genuinely want to understand what happened. So right now, I'm going to go into my computer and then show you a high-level assessment, of what happened there. Let's jump right in. This is a map showing the Ikota area of Lekki. If you scroll in, you can see Ikota GRA down here. And if you're familiar with the demolition case that's currently trending online, you will know that the demolition happened somewhere here, just off Mobile Road here, beside Copra Mart, for those familiar with this area. And the demolition started from here and is going down to Ikota. But this is not the beginning. This is not where the story begins. Let's scroll down, right? Sorry. To here. You can see that this water channel, water body or canal, whatever I want to call it, commences from this place, just off Ogombo Road, not far from Ogombo Road, right? And from here, you see it goes down through this fire station at the end of Mobile Road, through Mobile Road, through Ikota GRA, and terminates inside this river behind West End in Ikota. And then it further goes, you can see that this water continues through Oral Estates, under that bridge at Ikota, that Ikota bridge, through VGC, and terminates into the Lagos Lagoon, right? As you can see up here, Lagos Lagoon. So that is the normal direction of water. That is how water is supposed to move to enable, to ensure that the area is appropriately drained. So all the drains in these locations all, converge in this canal and then flows into the lagoon as so. And you have the same thing in Orchid Road. You can see this somewhere in Okwaja. If you can look here, Okwaja community. You can see that this channel starts from here, goes down through Lafiaji to the back of Orchid Road. You can see Victoria Crest 4 here, into the same river at the back of West End. You can see Orchid Road here, see Mega One event place. So you have that same water body. They now converge inside this place to all get drained in the lagoon, in the Lagos lagoon. And that is how it is all over Lekki and Lagos in general. That is the original plan. However, if you scroll down, you will notice something. You will see some constrictions, right? Some bottlenecks that have been created by people who build unscrupulously. Now, let me show you a live drone view of what I explained on the map. So at the very beginning now, you see this portion of the canal has obviously been blocked. If you see the way the water is just stagnant at the top, you see that it has been blocked. Let's go down. All these rubbles you can see at the side here, they were all properties, especially this one. This one was still under construction. Everything demolished, about 20 terraces, everything demolished. All right. So have you observed the problem? You see this demarcation here, right? You see this demarcation here. That was what they narrowed the canal into. They basically turned the canal into a gutter. These other parts where you can see the water was done by the government agencies that are also doing the demolition. So as they are demolishing, they are opening up the channel. So how do you think this environment is going to be if or when this canal has been turned to a gutter? Let's continue. So you can see it very clearly how they narrowed it down. So as they demolish, the government officials now opening it up so that the water can flow freely. Both on the left and the right, properties along this route are going to go down for it. So now we are following the path like I showed you on the map down to the Kota River. So you can see that white canal. You can see how it has been narrowed. It has been narrowed and turned to a gutter. And this is not even the worst part of it. Let's go on. Perfect. So I don't know if you can see it. This is where the canal has gotten to, right? And this is supposed to be this area here is supposed to be the continuation. But can you see all these houses here they are comfortably sitting on top of the pathway of the canal. So the water comes here and stops. There's nowhere for it to flow. And then here, it continues down to the canal. So all these houses here have been marked for demolition. So let's see. So you see over there, down there is the Ikota River. So everything was supposed to flow down into the Ikota River, but houses have, blocked the channel. And these bottlenecks have now prevented this normal flow of water, right? So water cannot now flow as it's supposed to be and drain into the canal, which has now led to people of this community, the Maroko community, the Gedegede community, experiencing flooding. I'm going to show you the flooding situation in that area, right? I have the same thing in Orchid Road. They have the same channel. For those of you familiar with Orchid Road, you know that you also have a flooding problem in Orchid. It's also part of the issue. You see this water body here, it now gets bottlenecked here. You see another bottleneck here. So when water doesn't have free channel to flow, it starts to, settle on the surface where people are supposed to live. So now what the Ministry of Environment has basically done is to open up all these channels. If you look here now, you will see that even this house is on top of the canal, you can see that this is a structure. You can see that even the map recognizes that something has eaten into the, let's say, right of way of the canal. If you go further down here, you can see how this place has been narrowed down. So water cannot flow. So the Minister of, the Commissioner of Environment is now trying to open up all these places so that water can flow. That is all that is happening. In fact, I heard from a reliable source that it was members of this community, the Maroko and the Gede communities, that wrote a petition to the office of the commissioner asking for help over the flooding they experience in their areas, which is due to the blockage of this canal. Now let's take a look at what these conditions are.
So, with these few points of mine, I hope I have been able to convince you and not confuse you that this matter of building demolition can come to an end if we all investors, if we all homeowners do our part, take the patience to get a building approval, take the patience to do things right. Because if we don't, at the end of it, we are the citizens, we are the ones who will suffer for it. If it rains heavily and water doesn't get a place to pass, and everywhere is flooded, we'll suffer for it, we'll blame the government. If there are no enough road access and everybody, all the buildings are just cramped together, who will suffer for it? It's also we, the citizens of the state, that will suffer for it. So please, let's do things right. Even if they don't even demolish your house. I've even seen situations, because setback is also another thing that you must pay attention to. Because I've seen situations too where they are expanding the road of a particular area, and then the government had to cut into, in fact, the front yard of several buildings were completely cut off to use as part of the road. I know a place in Bariga then, one street like that. And I was wondering, inside their gates, they cut up to inside the gate, pull down the gate, but didn't pull down the building. Pull down all the gates, all the place that you... Where are you going to put gates now? Now it is, see the express, see the building. There's no way that a building like that, at the end of the day, you will not, or maybe on your own, pull down the building. Because there's no way to enter. See the express, see your door. Government has completely taken part of the land to use for that, and they will do it, because if it is not your own, it is not your own. So with that, we've come to the end of this episode of Real Estate Talk with Karo. Please let's all be guided, and please let's all do what is right. It will take all of us doing our part to have a working state. Again, I don't know about other states, and I know this doesn't happen in other states as frequently as it happens in Lagos. And maybe it's because Lagos is a commercial city and we have, the population here is very high. Maybe that's why a lot of people are just building and not paying attention. I don't know. And if you've been a victim of building demolition, I sympathize with you with all my heart, but please, going forward, do things right, and let's all avoid this unnecessary waste of money. I just feel it's very, very unnecessary. It doesn't have to be like this. So that's it. So until I come your way again, please take care of yourself, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.